Hey everyone, welcome back to Rocky Watches Movies. Today we're tuning into a suburban garage hiding one of television's most unexpected house guests as we take a closer look at the iconic 1986 sitcom ALF, the series that turned a wisecracking alien from the planet Melmac into one of the biggest stars of the decade. With its razor-sharp one-liners, chaotic family antics, and a puppet who somehow outshone the humans, ALF became pure 80s television magic. But behind the laughter, there's far more to this classic than meets the eye. So grab a bowl of popcorn and maybe keep the cat safely out of reach as we dive into 20 things you never knew about ALF. The show was co-created by Paul Fusco, who not only provided the voice of the title character ALF, but also served as the puppeteer. He developed the character from a puppet he kept at home, which he would use to play tricks and pranks on family and friends. It eventually occurred to him that the mischievous alien might make the perfect subject for a television series, and he was absolutely right. Producer Bernie Brillstein was not interested in ALF at first, as he managed Jim Henson of Muppets fame and considered Henson the finest puppeteer in the business. However, after seeing Fusco perform, he recognised just how funny the character was and gave the project the green light. The series went on to air on NBC for 99 episodes. ALF was originally aimed at an adult audience, but the character's unexpected popularity with children shifted the show's direction. As a result, although ALF was seen drinking beer in the first episode, he was no longer shown consuming alcohol after the first season. The sole exception was the episode Tequila, in which he inspired an alcoholic to enter rehabilitation after spending a night drinking with her and convincing her that he was merely a hallucination. Paul Fusco has revealed that his favourite memories of working on ALF came from the writer's room. He relished pitching outrageous jokes and seeing just how far he could push NBC censors. Fusco remarked that the greatest things were the jokes we couldn't put in the show. One recurring issue involved ALF's running gag about eating cats. After NBC learned of a tragic incident in which a child put a cat in a microwave and killed it after watching the programme, the network became especially cautious about pet-related humour, forcing stricter limits on the jokes. In the hour-long first season episode, Try to Remember, ALF attempts to create a jacuzzi by putting Kate's electric mixer in the bath, giving himself an electric shock and amnesia. The episode was ended with a public service announcement from ALF warning about the dangers of mixing water and electricity. Despite this, again, a child tried to copy the stunt and nearly electrocuted himself, though Fusco confirmed he was unharmed. As a result, the opening was reshot, replacing the mixer with a manual egg beater. In the revised version, ALF's memory loss is caused by a head injury after slipping in the shower, marked by a scream and a thud rather than a zap. All references to electrocution, including the safety warning, were either redubbed or removed. ALF was portrayed both as a puppet and, in certain scenes, by an actor in full costume. That actor was Mihaly Michu-Mazaros, who stood 2 feet 9 inches tall and had previously performed as a circus entertainer with Ringling Brothers and Burnham and Bailey Circus. Filming scenes that combined human actors with a puppet was far from straightforward. The set was constructed on a platform raised 4 feet above the ground, allowing Fusco to operate ALF from beneath the stage. A network of trapdoors enabled him to maneuver the character across the set. Meanwhile, the human cast had to carefully navigate both the puppet and the hidden openings underfoot. On set, the production team took special care to protect the original ALF puppet from unnecessary damage. To prevent wear and tear during long shooting days, a separate rehearsal version was frequently used. This stand-in was affectionately nicknamed Ralph, short for Rehearsal Alien Lifeform. NBC cancelled ALF in 1990 after production on the 4th season had concluded, leaving the final episode as an unresolved cliffhanger. Ironically, the writers had deliberately structured it that way in the hope of persuading the network to commission another season. NBC executive Brandon Tartikoff later admitted to Fusco that the network regretted cancelling ALF prematurely, acknowledging that it had been a significant mistake and that the show likely had at least 1 or 2 more seasons left in it. The cast frequently complained that the set was hazardous and the show's technical demands took their toll. Many resented playing second fiddle to a puppet, and tension simmered throughout the 4 seasons. Max Wright openly admitted he despised supporting such a demanding character, who received most of the best lines, and said he was hugely eager for ALF to end. It was later claimed that Wright once became so frustrated he physically attacked the puppet, forcing producers to pull him away. On the final night of filming, Wright walked off after the last take, collected his bags and left without saying goodbye. Anne Skadine described the atmosphere as joyless and the production as a technical nightmare, slow, hot and exhausting, with a 30-minute episode taking up to 25 hours to shoot. Though she was fond of the child actors, she admitted some of the adults had difficult personalities, calling the entire experience a dysfunctional family. A television film, Project ALF, was released in 1996. It co-starred Martin Sheen and was produced by ABC. The film brought closure to the storyline, revealing that ALF escaped from the military base where he had been held for testing. Project ALF is often dismissed by fans of the series, many of whom do not regard it as part of the original canon. One major reason for the backlash was that none of the original human cast returned. ALF proved hugely popular in West Germany. The actor who provided the German voice for the character, Tommy Piper, went on to record 2 albums and 4 singles as ALF between 1988 and 1991. So strong was the character's appeal that the city limit sign of the German town of ALF was stolen repeatedly, prompting the authorities to keep a stockpile of replacements so a new one was always ready to be installed. In 2004, Paul Fusco revived his famous creation with ALF's hit talk show for TV Land. The series blended celebrity interviews with comedy sketches, placing ALF in a traditional late-night format. Filmed before a live studio audience, the show featured veteran television personality Ed McMahon as co-host, adding a classic talk show feel. Despite the novelty of seeing ALF banter with real-life stars, the experiment struggled to find a lasting audience, and was cancelled after just 7 episodes. In 2010, blooper footage was found showing ALF saying the N-word and making sexual remarks. The outtakes were in fact parodying a then recent episode of LA Law that dealt with Tourette syndrome. Producer Steve Lamar explained that the footage came from a time when, in his view, attitudes were not as ridiculously politically correct. Beyond posters, t-shirts and assorted merchandise, ALF even had his own line of trading cards. Released by Topps in the late 1980s, the set cleverly spoofed traditional sports cards. Instead of baseball heroes, the cards celebrated ALF's favourite pastime, Boolia baseball. To capitalise further on the show's success, an animated spin-off was produced for Saturday morning syndication. ALF, the animated series, set on ALF's home planet of Melmac, ran from 1987 to 1988. Serving as a prequel, it took place before the planet's destruction and centred on ALF, his family, his friends and his girlfriend Rhonda, chronicling their various exploits. Each episode was framed by live action segments in which ALF addressed viewers directly, introducing the story at the beginning and offering commentary once it had concluded. When ALF the animated series entered its second season, it was paired in a 1-hour programming block with its own spin-off, ALF Tales. This companion series took Gordon and the supporting characters from the first season and reimagined them as figures from a variety of classic fairy tales. Marvel Comics expanded the franchise by publishing a 50-issue run based on ALF. The series captured the alien's sarcastic humour and Melmac backstory, often taking his adventures far beyond the suburban setting of the television show. Even after the series was cancelled in 1990, the alien lived on through guest appearances in a range of popular programmes, some of which were Matlock, Blossom, Hollywood Squares, Mr. Robot and Young Sheldon. In 2012, Paul Fusco revealed that he was pitching an ALF film. That August, it was reported that Sony Pictures Animation had acquired the rights to the character and planned to develop a CGI live-action hybrid feature. But that never came to be. Then, in early 2018, Warner Bros. Television announced that a reboot was in development, but it was cancelled later that same year. Then in 2022, Shout Studios acquired the distribution rights to the ALF titles and stated that it would develop new ALF-related content. Nothing yet though. And there you have it folks, you now know a little bit more about ALF. If you enjoyed the video, which I presume you did as you got this far, hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss any future videos coming to Rocky Watches Movies. Thanks for watching, I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.